The VA Aid and Attendance Benefit is a non-service-related disability payment, open to wartime veterans over 65, with certain health conditions. In order to receive the benefit, your case must be properly prepared and presented to the Veterans Administration. This video will show you what types of information and assessments are made by the VA before an improved pension is granted.
So the burning question for this benefit is exactly how do we get it? Where do we go to get it? And I'd like to contrast that with the way that the other entitlement program called Social Security works. See, with Social Security, they send you a letter. They say, do you want this at 62? Do you want it at 65? Soon they'll be asking people if they want it at 82 or 85, I imagine. Nevertheless, with Social Security, the government gets in touch with you. This benefit is exactly the opposite. You literally need to make a federal case, and that's why we have a VA accredited attorney talking about it.
VA will review three major areas before granting this award. The first is income, the second is medical expenses, and the third is assets.
As part of your application, the VA is going to look at your income and your expenses as well as your assets. So let's talk about income and expenses. In the first place, we're going to have a form that you can download from our website, and we'd like you to fill that out before you come in and talk to us. There's a space for income. Here's what income is. It's Social Security and it's pension. Those two things, the gross amounts, are what income is generally. And the way to find these amounts is either through a 1099 tax form or the letter from Social Security. If you're relying on mom or dad's bank statement, what you're going to see is a net amount, and you're going to have to take some steps in order to get to the gross amount, either by writing to the pension company or contacting Social Security in order to get that letter. And don't worry, these companies are very familiar with these requests, and you'll be able to get it. Income is also considered if someone is in, for instance, an assisted living community and they bought long-term care insurance and now that's paying them. That's considered income. Medicaid benefits are considered income also. So in the case that either of these things are happening for your family, we need to count those as income. Let's talk about expenses. In the worst case, if someone's in a skilled nursing community, they're spending thousands of dollars a month, and those are all medical expenses, period. If someone's in assisted living, the room and board as well as the care costs are all considered medical expenses. It gets a little more complicated when somebody's in an independent living community, and it gets a little more complicated when someone's living at home. So let's consider somebody living at home. If you're living at home, you pay for utilities, food, taxes, insurance, and some kid to shovel the walk, and you might be paying for somebody to come in and help with, as we mentioned, bathing assistance or help with medicine, etc. Now, the utilities, the food, and so forth is on one side of the ledger. Medicare, medicine, somebody to help you with dressing is on the other. The medical side of the ledger has to be greater than your income in order to get the full amount of the benefit. Kind of hard to do at home, not impossible, and something we work with regularly. Now consider that someone's in an independent living community that has the right type of requirements for this benefit. You see, the independent living community pays the rent, the insurance, they provide the food, and you still may have to get some help with bathing, etc. But in the right type of a community, all of these expenses are medical expenses, and so it's easy to qualify for the benefit from that point of view.
Assets are perhaps the most difficult part of the equation to put together. And that's because Congress has said that a veteran can have $80,000 in countable assets to their name and receive this award. Now, that does not include a primary residence or the land it sits on. However, the VA is challenged. They have to take care of many veterans with many concerns and needs. So when you look at the rating manual, what we see is that it's okay for a veteran to start with $80,000 in countable assets to their name if they're at age 65. And the rating manual goes on to say, however, at age 95, We expect them to have $5,000 in countable assets in their name to receive the award. Now, this having been said means that the older you are, the less you can have. And it often takes a professional to reconcile the exact number of assets that are required before application. If you're discouraged to find out that your veteran can have so little in order to apply for this benefit, please keep in mind this. Unlike Missouri HealthNet or Medicaid, the VA currently does not have a look-back in place when it comes to the transfer of assets. So you have a slight opportunity before making application to address with a professional what it is that mom and dad have.
The preceding video presentation was created by Jeffrey Bremer, attorney at law, and Guy Robert Porter, a Missouri registered investment advisor. The facts, opinions, and scenarios presented here are for general information only and not specific to your case, actual or otherwise. Only the Department of Veteran Affairs can grant or adjudicate VA benefits. Please consult qualified fiduciary professionals before attempting to qualify for any type of government program. Do not rely solely on this information to make any changes to your assets or estate plan.